Yo, what's up, y'all? What's good, yitty? Yo, it's your boy Remo, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about how black women are the worst tenants. The worst tenants ever. And I'm telling you from experience. All my landlords out there, all my homeowners out there, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, let's be clear. Not all black women are like this. And this don't just apply to black women. I mean, there's some horrible tenants in every race. But from my experience, black women are the worst. The worst, you hear me? The worst. Especially black women with kids. Now, here's a quick tip for all you landlords out there. Some of y'all might notice, some of y'all might not. It's not cool to discriminate. You don't have any good luck discriminating. Just be fair, treat everybody with fairness. But what I will advise y'all to do is before y'all move anybody in your house, make sure they got good credit. And make sure they have good landlord references. Yeah. And last but not least, once they pass those first two steps, go to the house that they're living in and see how they're living. Good credit, good landlord references, go to the house and have them sign some papers and look around and be like, okay, you want to see how they living before they move into your place. You know what I mean? Because you can't just have any Jane or John Doe in your house, you know what I mean? Because they'll destroy your property. But most importantly, the kids, black women let their kids destroy their property. Excuse me. Black women let their kids just run amok. They'll tear up your property so fast, you'll be pouring money down the drain. Yeah, you'll be pouring money down a bottomless pit, Now, let me tell you what happened to me. Now, I live in a side by side. It's a whole house. I live on this side and I rent out the left side. So I've been doing this for the last 9.5 years. And the worst tenants just so happen to be black women. I had a couple of horrible I had some horrible Hispanic tenants. They were Colombian, but nothing like what I'm about to tell y'all. I had this one chick. She had one son. He was about 16, 17, and it's a 2-bedroom, remind you. And she was begging me, oh, I need a place to stay. Oh, me and my son been homeless. Oh, we don't have nowhere to go, and blah blah blah. And so I said, what happened to your last apartment? She was like, oh, I had an asshole landlord, and he was this, he was this, he was that, and all he wanted to do was get with me, and he wanted to have sex with me and all this stuff. And I'm listening, I'm like, wow. I was like, how did it lead up to that point? She was like, oh, he was just a creep and blah, 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 blah. And then she said he put hidden cameras in her house. She said he would come there and fix the smoke detectors and hide hidden cameras in the smoke detectors and all this stuff. So I kind of felt bad. And that's another thing. Don't sympathize with these tenants or these applicants. Ask them about the 3 steps I just told y'all. Credit, references, and go to the house. Do that. Don't sympathize with none of them, because they'll tell you anything just to get into your place. Yeah. So I felt bad for her. I was like, and then plus I needed to rent the space out. Just paint it, put down new carpet and everything. She said it was just, it's just only me and my son. Oh, he's 17 and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, all right, boom. So they moved in, and I told her, I was like, do you smoke? She was like, oh, every now and then. She was a cool person. I barely saw her son. Come to find out, he didn't go to school. All he did was just lay around and play video games, And after about like 4 or 5 months, she started slipping on her rent. Now she had a year lease. After the 6 months, she ain't paid no rent for like another 6 months. She paid rent for the first 6 months, but the last 6 months she didn't pay anything. So, I had to go through the steps. It take time. I kept trying to tell her to get out, and she needed to do this and do that, but she kept She kept giving me this runaround about how she was waiting on a check. Whenever they say, "Oh, they waiting on some money to come from somewhere," they ain't getting no money. That's just to pacify you, to keep you from filing paperwork and harassing them. And I should have known better because at the time, my wife was working from home, and my wife noticed everything. She was like, "Yeah, I noticed they be home all day. They don't go nowhere no more." She told me by the third month that they was there, she was like, they don't go nowhere. They be home all day, running up and down the stairs and running in and out. And she used to always have company. So got the paperwork taken care of, and she was able, we was able to get the process going. She got evicted, but the boy's bedroom, he had holes all in the walls, because what he would do, he would get mad and punch holes in the wall. I mean, it was like 20 holes in the wall. We had to patch up 20 freaking holes because he would get mad at his mom, because we used to hear him arguing with his mom, but we thought he was just a spoiled, bratty teenager. He would get mad and then just start punching, or he'll get mad at the video game and just punch holes in the wall. Totally no respect. No respect for the property whatsoever. And she didn't do or say anything about it. And let me tell you what she did. She was in the beginning, I only smoke once in a while. She was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And she would throw the cigarette butts on the floor. She would empty out ashtrays on the floor. The walls was yellow, especially in the bathroom. You could see brown drips down the wall from the cigarette tire, because when smoke rises, and if you're smoking in the bathroom and you got the shower water running, or if it's hot in there, then the smoke rises, the nicotine, the tar mixes in with that steam, and it drips down the walls. Y'all see how the raindrops are back here? Look, the tar was brown. It looked like brown raindrops on your wall. And the rest of the rooms in the house was yellow. And when I asked her about what happened, she was like, "Oh, well, I was going through a lot. Oh, you was threatening to put me out, so I was stressing, and I was smoking, and my son everybody was frustrated. Oh, my son punched holes in the walls because he was arguing with me, or he'll get mad at the game, and I was trying to tell you, but all you wanted was your rent money. You damn right." Yeah, like, what the hell? Annoying. Then I had this other tenant, and this was recent. This was last year. This was last March. She was a black chick with 2 kids, and she claimed she had a good. Well, she did have a good job. She worked for the phone company or the internet company or something, but she had a good ass job, and she moved in. Same thing. The first 4 months was okay, and then I noticed that she was home a lot, and then I noticed that people would be coming to her house all hours of the night. And so my wife was like, "I think she's selling drugs out of that place." She kept saying it. I'm like, "I don't think so, because she's been behind on her rent. She was selling drugs. She'll be able to pay, her rent on time, or give me something." My wife kept saying, "I think she's selling drugs. I think when I tell y'all what she was selling, y'all gonna be like, what?" I thought maybe she did hair, because my ex-girlfriend used to do hair in her house, and she would have clients coming and going. And I told my girl, I was like, "Nah, if she was selling drugs, they would have knocked on our door." Drug addicts do that. Like, if you live in a side by side and you somebody selling drugs, they always accidentally knock on your door. Nobody ever knocked on our door. Because crackheads, drug addicts, they get all confused and delirious. They'll do anything to get somebody. You know what I mean? It never fails. They would have eventually knocked on my door. So I didn't believe she was selling any hard drugs. And then I don't think she was selling no weed. At the time, I didn't think she was selling weed, because weed was legal in New York State. You know what I mean? She wasn't selling that, but she was selling something. I just couldn't figure. I knew she was doing something, and whatever it wasn't lucrative, because she was way behind on her rent. Then her boyfriend moved in and he brought this big ass dog. I think it was a pit bull Labrador Retriever mix, you know. And I told her at the beginning, no pets, and she was like, oh no, my boyfriend just bring the dog over, you know, for my kids whenever he comes over. You know, somehow the dog and the boyfriend ended up staying there, and what they would let the dog do was, the dog would use the bathroom on our side of the backyard. So I got on her dumb ass about that. I'm like, yo, you know, can somebody clean up the shit? You know what I mean? Like, you letting your dog shit all over the backyard. So she was like, oh, I'm sorry. So what she ended up doing was letting the dog shit all on her side of the house. You know, I couldn't see it unless I went around on her side of the house. Like when I was cutting grass, I'm like, damn. You know, I mean, piles and piles of shit. That's another thing. Black people don't take care of their pets, especially black women. You know, if it's a black chick with kids and she got a dog, no, they don't take care. They don't even really take care of their kids. You know, this chick used to let the dog just shit all up and down, all on the side of the house. It was crazy, you know, and yeah, she would have people coming in and out, running in and out, you know, all times of the night, especially during the summer. You really get to know your neighbors or your tenants during the summer. You know, they say the freaks come out at night. The freaks also come out in the summertime, because during the wintertime, they be in the house. You don't know who lived there. You don't know what they doing. You don't know how they look. You only see them once in a while. But in the summertime, you see everything. You notice everything. And sometimes you got to go spy on your tenants, you know, because you never know what they up to. You never know who they got in your house, you know. But yeah, this chick, she didn't. She was going behind. She was way behind on her rent. You know, had all these people coming in and out. So when we got the ball rolling and finally evicted her, she left. She left and left everything there. She didn't try to clean up. She didn't try to clean up or anything. And come to find out, this bitch was selling shrooms. She was growing shrooms all in the house, everywhere, all in glass jars. You know, and she left the house in horrible condition. Let me show y'all. Look. Yeah, she was growing mushrooms. I guess she was the mushroom woman. And it was weird because I used to always hear her throwing up early in the morning. Because I was working overnights at the time. I'd get off at like 6 in the morning. And I'll hear her in there throw it up. And she claimed she didn't drink. Look at that. That's how she left the house. That's how she left it. Didn't clean up shit. Didn't empty out the refrigerator or nothing. We found loaded weapons. And you know, they eventually caught up to her. She did some time. She out now. And she don't know I know her TikTok page. And so I checked her TikTok page the other day, and she was in Hawaii. You know, she probably running some sort of scam, you know, because she had all types of websites and scams talking about she's a medicinal doctor and all this stuff. Look how they left the basement. They would have a big bag of dog food on the basement steps, and she called herself a gardener. And what she did was she ran a water hose from the basement sink out the basement window and into the backyard, so she could water down her bullshit garden, you know. And so what she ended up doing was leaving the window open slightly. You know, the window was open just a little bit so the hose could get through, but flies and mice was coming in. So what the mice were doing, they was eating that dog food that she left on the basement steps. So you had dog food and feces all over the place, and it was dead flies everywhere. Because I put down some rat poison in the basement because I didn't know where all these mice and rats was coming from. I'm like, how they never seen them in the basement before? Come to find out, her dumbass left the window crack. So the water hole, you know, for the water holes and mice, rats, and flies and whatever else could get in. So I put the rat traps down, and the rats was dying, and flies was getting in, eating the dead rats. You know? Just didn't care. No respect. Called herself selling mushrooms. I think she was always throwing up because some of the mushrooms you can't eat. Like, even though they say you could grow them, they're easy to grow at home. You can't, everybody immune system can't handle some of the mushrooms. I never tried them, but I read about them. I saw videos on YouTube how people could get sick eating too much or the wrong type of shrooms. You know what I mean? Because it's a fungus. Shrooms are fungi or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, her dumb ass was down there. That's the basement. That's how they left the basement. Yeah, her dumb ass was in there calling herself a medicine woman, selling medicine, selling shrooms and herbs and all types of stuff out of that nasty house to people. Just nasty. Now, I'm gonna have to do another video regarding black women being the worst tenants because I got so many stories to tell y'all. It's ridiculous. Yeah, like I said, I had some horrible Latin tenants, but when they moved, they left the place in pretty good condition. At least they cleaned up, and they just was horrible on their rent, and they had a lot of people staying in that place. But this ugly black chick here, boy, no respect. Excuse me. Yeah, and it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah. And my ex-girlfriend, the one that I told y'all that I banged that looked like Kim Fields, she owned property too, and she was telling me about her tenants. She said that because I thought black female landlords had it easier because a lot of female tenants, they'll try to size you up because you're a man. They'll try to flirt with you, or they'll try to talk sexy to you. I thought it was harder for them to get over on a black female landlord. And so my ex-girlfriend was like, nah. She was like, they use the guilt trip on her. I was like, yeah, they use it on, but she was like, no, they really use it on her. Like, she said that this one chick came to her in tears about letting her son and his fiance rent one of her properties. And the lady said she'll co-sign for her son and daughter-in-law. And she was like, yeah, my son got his own business. His fiance is going to the army. Made it sound real good. And come to find out, none of them was doing nothing of what they said they was going to do. It was all bullshit. They were just blowing smoke. And they paid rent 1 month. And it took her 14 months to get them evicted. And they was breeding dogs out of her house. She had like a back porch. They was breeding dogs and selling pit bulls for $100 a piece, but couldn't pay their rent. I guess they wasn't selling enough pit bulls. I don't know. And so she had to spend $10,000 on renovations. And she put like $20,000 in it when she first bought the house. So she had to spend enough. She was pissed off telling me this. And I was like, just be thankful that they didn't flood your apartments, because I had a homeboy that had some tenants, a female with 5 kids who thought she could sweet talk my homeboy. Like, she wanted to give him some what every month so she could stay, and he wasn't with it. At least that's what he told me. So when she got evicted, this chick turned on all the water from the top bathroom to the basement and flooded each floor. He had to sell the house. Well, he had to get rid of it. I don't know if he sold it or not, but I know he don't rent out no more because it just messed. That girl I know he sued her. I don't know if he won or not. I never asked him, because when he was telling me, it was just a headache. I was getting mad the more he was talking. But yeah, I'm telling you, black women are the worst tenants ever. Do like I said. Let me know your comments. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.